Hi everyone, this is Bean to Barstool Bite-Sized, where we spend about 5 minutes with some of our favorite people from craft beer and craft chocolate. Today we'll hear from Brett Smith, co-founder and head brewer at Branch Bone Artisan Ales in Dayton, Ohio. The following clip is from a conversation I had with Brett when he had just started working with Violet Sky Chocolate out of South Bend, Indiana, to use their excellent cacao in his beers. He shares the story behind two of those beers, Modern Business Hymns and Campfire Candle, and starts by telling us how he discovered Violet Sky.
We were up brewing with Chris at Transient the first weekend of October, and he brought out a bunch of Violet Sky bars, and we started eating them, and it was just like mind-blowing.
Yeah. Do you remember which ones you tasted?
Yeah, we tasted. So Chris has the stout called Buckley, and they did a Buckley bar that was supposed to be mimicked after the stout with the adjuncts. It had stuff all over the bottom of the bar, like roasted barley. It was really cool.
Yeah.
We had a couple single origins. I forget which ones. And we had a maple vanilla.
I love that one.
God, it was so good.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And then, it was pretty much like, oh yeah, we're doing this. Like, we've got to use some of this. He kind of asked what I wanted, and I was like, well, I'm thinking about putting it in this beer with a bunch of other stuff, and told him what. And he asked how I wanted the chocolate to taste, the cacao. And I was like, I don't know, like nutty. And he was like, I can do that. He was like, how about a blend of Guatemalan and Ugandan? And I roast it kind of lightly. And lo and behold, like we get it in the mail and I'm tasting it. And I'm like, that's pretty nutty. That's awesome. Really getting the details on what's there, how he roasted it, like everything. I think it's fun for me because it's new to me. And that's like this new one I got. I haven't heard back from him yet. I just got some for another beer. Yeah, this new one is going into a new candle variant, which you probably know is like our Imperial Milk Stout series.
Mm-hmm.
This one's going to be called Campfire Candle. It's like a s'mores inspired Imperial Stout. So
Sure.
Vanilla, graham cracker, and a lot of cacao nibs. So this beer is going to be like a s'mores inspired pastry stout. So it's going to be heavy on graham cracker. I'm trying to not go too heavy on the vanilla. Vanilla can be tricky, especially with a really sweet beer.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you even have that note of vanilla, it just seems to amplify, and the sweeter something is. Vanilla is very sweetening on its own. But then we're hitting it with even more cacao. We did 15 pounds in 7 barrels on Modern Business Hymns. We're doing 20 in this one.
So Modern Business Hymns was the first beer that you did with him, and I've had a chance to taste that one. It was excellent. Tell me about the process of developing that beer. Did you already know what the concept was before you decided to go with his cacao, or how did that process work?
No, not really. I was just planning on getting an Imperial Stout into that canning run. And after meeting up at Chris's and trying the chocolate, I was like, I want to get some into this beer. So I hit him up, Hans, and as we were talking, I kind of gave him the date I would need it by. And he was like, no problem. I'll have it to you in like 3 or 4 days. So then it was like immediate, and I kind of already had this idea of like a pistachio, vanilla, cinnamon thing, and just throwing chocolate into that mix sounded excellent. And we actually we had the cacao nibs in the tank first for like 3 or 4 days, and tasting the beer, I immediately was like, well, I can't leave it as is because I've already ordered labels, everything. But we are making a straight up cacao nib beer this season like this because, it just tasted like liquid chocolate.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
So you're just putting that in during secondary for what, 3-4 days?
Yeah, I think that was in there for a total of like 6 days.
Okay.
A couple days warm and then the rest of it cold. We got other ingredients and stuff in there. Yeah, and that base recipe too, it doesn't have any roasted barley in it. It's just chocolate malt and some caramel malts, base malt, some flake grains. So it's kind of more of a stout recipe where I'm looking for a more chocolate forward beer.
What were formative experiences of flavor that made you love creating things like this, creating new flavor experiences for people?
I mean, music and food both play a huge role in just me wanting to be creative. As far as creating flavors, and especially with beer, I mean, it comes a lot from beer. Like, I mean, my first time drinking like a really good mixed fermentation saison was like a life-changing experience.
What was it?
First one I had that I like flipped out over was a Phantom bottle. This is just like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
This is incredible. And how the fuck did they get these flavors and aromas into this? And then you find out it's wild yeast and all this. And then it's like, what the hell? I want in on this. That was like a big thing with foraged ingredients with me. It's just like, go outside and smell the air. Like, don't you want to create that? That's incredible. Yeah. Like, you smell these beautiful things and it's like, well, I want to find a way to put that in a bottle.
Thanks for spending 5 minutes with me and Brett Smith of Branch Bone Artisan Ales. You can hear the rest of our conversation in episode 10. The music today is by my good friend Anna P.S. My name is David Nilsson. Thanks for listening to Bean to Barstool Bite-Sized.